Model Railway, and also if you're watching on the Scenic3D YouTube channel, welcome to Scenic3D. I'm going to self-promote again today, and this is market stalls. Market stalls are a product that I used to print a long time ago, but phased out when I knew I was slowing down at doing certain jobs and stopping all the 3D printing for at least the resin printing side. You'll notice that if you go onto my website, the scenic3d.co.uk, the jigs are still being produced fully at the moment, and they will do, and they'll continue forever. It's a product that I'm fully behind, and I'll just keep working on those jigs. And just behind me, underneath the table, are hundreds and hundreds of jigs, and they sell throughout the week constantly. Also behind me are boxes there are mystery boxes. I've got them in OO, TT and N gauge. There's a few left, they are on the website. There's over £56 worth of items in there, and they go for £20 each. That is what was left of the stock of resin printed items that I was producing on Scenic3D. So them are all, there's about 20 of each that's left, and so when they're gone, they are actually gone. I did donate a couple of boxes to a model railway club down in Somerset. So if you watch Charlie Bishop on Chadwick Model Railway, you'll see he probably made a mention of it when he finished the show down in Somerset. So that's what happened to the rest of the items, but all what is left now is just the mystery boxes behind me. And believe me, the double O gauge ones, they've got some quite good items in there. They're actually quite a bargain. But going back to the products in hand, and you'll notice, and have to forgive me for this, the blue glove. Some years ago I had an accident where I trapped my hand, and 3 of my fingernails, well, 2 fingernails and a thumbnail, got jammed and broken, and they never really started growing back properly. So much so they grow on top of the nail and not part of the nail. Well, the nail is not part of the finger as such. And I keep knocking it and I keep pulling them back, and I keep them to cut them right back. So it's quite painful and it doesn't look very nice. So for the close-up, I'll be using the glove. So back to the market stalls. Traditional market stalls that you'd see on any sort of town market. So what you've got the 2 A-frames, you've got the tabletop, and you've got a 1-piece canopy. The previous ones that I made were made using 2 pieces of canopy and glued together, but you could see the join, it wasn't very good, it had to be really well lined up, so it wasn't as good as they could have been. But like most products that you produce, you get better at it, or from feedback of customers, or what you think yourself about it. Simple little things. It's a bit like if you look at the canopy there, you'll see that the side tassels coming down are actually hanging vertical. So when you print them on the flat piece, they're actually stuck out. It took me ages to realise that didn't look right, and I had to adjust that. The most recent change is that you'll see there is a crease down the centre of the canopy, and you can bend that very gently, not too quick, especially if you're like me in the cold in this shed. You need to take your time over it, or put them in a warm area, keep them warm, and you'll find that they bend quite easily. And it's best just to put a bit of a bend in there before you actually use it. So what you've got the two A-frames, you've got the tabletop and the canopy. Also, in every kit you have got a jig. I'm mad about jigs. So a stall jig, and then what you do is that you put these in the jig. Now you'll find there is a wide sort of ledge, and it's wider than the actual frame itself, and it's flush on the one side and it sticks out the other side. So the side it sticks out, so it's wider than the frame, goes to the inside of the jig, and when you put both of them in, both of them will face each other. And the reason for that is that the tabletop sits down on that. Now I use a cheap and cheerful, no nonsense super glue. A large 50-gram bottle of this lasts me an absolute age. I think it dries out quicker than I can use it sometimes, but it is a little bit on the sort of thicky gloopy side rather than sort of too liquidy. So I always use something like this is a food container lid. Things like the big yogurt pot lids I keep, and I use them for mixing paint on, so they've got a good use for them. And then this is a lollipop stick cut down the middle to make it thin. You can use cocktail sticks or anything like that. So what you need is a small piece, a small bit of glue on here, and gently just put some on. Now you can get the super glues with a fine applicator. Yeah, use those if you're happy using those. I have seen people use paintbrushes, but they must be throwing them away once they've used them. So a little bead on each, and make sure you don't put too much on, because if it drips down into the jig then you won't get your legs out, and you won't get the frame out. So this goes in, push it in from the side, and there are slots in there, and then just ease that one down and push it down. It clips into place like that, and just apply a little bit of pressure with your finger just to weight it down, and that will sit down nicely where the frame comes through the slots. The slots are angled, so it sits in there and centres quite nicely, and that's about it. So there you've got your frames with the tabletop on, and now it comes to the canopy. So you need your glue again, and just apply a thin bead on these roof panels at the top of the frame. They are as wide as the supports for the tabletop, so they're just the same. And then eye it up so it is central in that direction, so you've got the same amount of overhang on each, and also so you can see it there, and it sits central on the A-frames. And then just put a little bit of pressure down on the edges of the canopy, just so it bends it down and it's touching all of the top of that A-frame, the supports, and then just hold it there. You can see there's a little bend in that top rail there. Don't push too hard so you're going to break it, but just enough pressure just to hold it on, and you can see there's quite a bit of flexibility in that. And then even in this cold shed that I'm in, there is sufficient pressure there just to glue it in place. And that's basically the stall as it is. Everything's nice and centre. It's all looking nice, and you can have all your market stalls. Let's move them so they're a bit in a better view. So you can paint on these, and I did make some canopies that were two colour, so they've got the stripes in them, but they took such an age to print because it keeps changing colours all the time, so it didn't really seem worth it. If you're going to paint them, you're going to paint them, and you can use acrylic paints quite easily. So that's the jigs. What would you suggest is the right amount of market stalls for any layout? Would it be 5, 10, 15, 20? I'm proposing to put 10 in a pack, and then you get this stall jig free. It comes in with it. I initially thought 20, because you know, market stalls can be quite big, quite a lot of stalls. So it doesn't really matter where you see the market stalls in whatever town. There are quite a few, but I think 10 of them is quite sufficient for most layouts. You don't want to overcrowd a layout. And that's about it for the jigs. So yeah, so sorry for the market stalls. I was reading the writing on there. So these will be available soon on scenic3d.co.uk. I shall put a link up on the screen so you can see where to get them from. We do have quite a few items on there at the moment. So you've got the jigs for the point motors. We've got those in all gauges. That's O, O, N and TT120. There's for a wide range of points, and point motors. So you get jigs that are specific to a point motor and a point, and you get them in all different gauges. So there's quite a few to choose from. One of the things that I've always done and always said is that give me feedback, let me know if there's a point motor or a point that you don't think I've covered. It's like somebody come to me, you're for scissor points, and I thought, well, no I don't. So N gauge scissor points were the first ones, and then it became the double O gauge scissor points, and they sell well. I'll do them for double slips. You can use them for single slips as well as the double slips, and you can go for the standard straight and curved point, single curved point. You can get them for three-way points. You can get them for the fan type three-way points where it's the all from one position, or you can get them from the asymmetric where it turns off and then turns off. So there's two types of three-way points. There's the asymmetric and the symmetric. So that is the choices. So you've got the three-way, double slips, and the single points universals, and the scissor points. As more and more points come available on the different gauges, the more and more I'll bring them out. One of the things that I did notice with TT, the Hornby and the Pico points differ in a major way, and that's the tie bar on the Hornby has a hole in the centre like they do on the double O gauge, where the Pico, the holes for the point motor, they're on the ends of the tie bar, like they do on the end gauge points. So for TT there are two sorts of every single jig. One's for the Pico and one's for the Hornby. So you've got to make sure you order the right one. Also for the MTB motors there are the MP1 motors, the MP4 motors and the MP10s. The MP10s share the same footprint as the tortoise motors, so you just choose the jigs for the tortoise motors. If you're going for MP1s, then you have to choose it for the MP1 motors, and then for the MP4 motors, the jigs that service the MP4 motors. It's quite simple when you get to it and have a look. You will notice that you get all full instructions with all the jigs. All the items that I now produce have step-by-step instructions, as will these market stalls. They'll have full printed instructions, step-by-step instructions on how to assemble them, either computer images or photographs, along with instructions on what to do next. So you get all that. You also get free support, either email, any social media, messaging, or by phone. My phone number will be printed on the instructions, and be a bit sensible. I don't want being phoned up at 10, 11 o'clock at night when I'm thinking about going to bed. Can you just help me do my points, please? I probably would do, but I'd rather you not. So obviously proper keeping to shop hours. One of the things that we have done at Scenic3D recently is we have started to sell internationally. I did this while I'd got the shop open on the eBay store. That was a very simple thing. You just clicked yes to doing it, and it was just basically I posted somewhere in the UK, a local hub, and they all went from there abroad on behalf of eBay. They did all the rest of the work. Doing it on my website was a bit different, a bit more difficult, a bit more involved, and it's not working perfectly right at the moment because it's not automatically sent through and connected to the carriers or the postage carriers. I have to do that manually through Royal Mail, and I'll send it through. So although you can now actually buy, I've got customers that's in Australia and France just recently purchasing items, so it works. And funny enough, the items that went to Australia took 5 days, so it's almost equivalent to the UK postage at the moment with the likes of Yodel or Every. So that is the good news on shipping to around the world for any of the customers abroad. There's not really a lot I can tell you. I'm hoping that I can find time. As you will know, a lot of things have changed within my life recently, with my father dying and then having to look after my mother as a 24-hour carer. I've got somebody watching my mum at the moment while I'm actually physically in the shed doing this, so it's difficult to get into my train room. It's become a dumping ground at the moment, and I cannot even get in there, never mind get to the railway. Believe it or not, it was 2 years since I posted a video on doing some work where I was changing a bit of track, introducing what I was going to be doing to a station platform that I was building, and I've done very little if nothing of that, and that was 2 years ago, just over 2 years ago now. So I'm well behind on anything to do with Jumble Lane Model Railway. I've been pushing everything to do with Scenic3D, as that is an income I need. Us poor pensioners can't do without this income. So that's it for now. Keep an eye out for the market stalls on the website. They'll be up there soon, within a week or two, and hopefully give me some feedback as to think how many should be in a set. I haven't worked out pricing yet, but as ever, all pricing to do with Scenic3D, I won't say is cheap, it's a bargain, because that puts the item at a disadvantage, making it sound cheap. They're not cheap, they're good quality, and they're useful. So they are very sort of value for money. These will be value for money. I'll go through and see what the other ones were in as far as costing. Prices have gone up, and I have put my prices up in the past, but very much so as little as possible. So don't think I'm going to be screwing anybody, because I'm not. So that's it from me. I'm going to go indoors now, and I'm going to get myself a cup of tea, get warm, as it's pretty chilly in this shed. So that's goodbye from me at Jumper Lane Model Railway and Scenic3D. Bye bye.